Hi everyone, so this is going to be a solo speedrun of Octopath Traveler 2, and I will be using the thief character Throne. And I will also try to commentate as I go along, and it will also be a no reset run as well for marathon submissions and such. Alright, we'll just get started in 3, 2, 1, go! So Octopath Traveler 2 is a semi-recent game that came out just a few years ago, and it is a turn-based game that uses a break and boost mechanic. Here we'll be thrust straight into a battle, so you'll see here. When you hit the enemy's weakness, and their shields in the bottom left are go down to 0, they enter a broken state, and then they take bonus damage and such. In addition, in the top right of every character, of your characters, is little dots that increase every single turn, and those are the boosts. You can spend those to do bonus damage and such, and that's the core mechanic of the game. Usually in this game there's 8 travelers that you can pick between to start, and then players will use some party of 4 to clear the game. This will be a challenge run where I only use a single character, Throne, and because of that it does some interesting things that are a little different, and some battles will be harder of course, but it makes for a fun challenge run, so I like to showcase it if I can. So this battle is actually a little bit tricky. You just have to target the right people with magic and special attacks. This is a percentage-based damage attack, so it does a lot of damage. That middle guy is really strong. And then you break this last guy over here. So here, she uses magic against this guy. And then we finish with a special slice attack. It looks pretty simple, but this fight is actually a little bit annoying because of the cursor. You could easily select the wrong person and then it could take an extra turn. So more than one runner has gotten tripped up by it. So alright, so this is Throne, the character I'll be running, and she's the thief, and her storyline is basically she works for this organization, and she's worked for it since she was a child, but she wants to get out of the organization. So that's basically going to be the whole goal of her storyline. We'll be going to these chapter towns and such, and then completing objectives in them. For her, it's mainly getting like the key to her freedom, because she has like this thing around her neck that is like kind of enslaving her. So rather dark and sad story, but also one of like her escaping it all, so that's also nice. Anyways, because she's a thief, as I mentioned, she can steal items. So here I'll be stealing items, and here too. Some will be items to sell for money, and others, like that dress, are for the story. These Shadow Soul Stones do a fixed amount of damage, so they're kind of like grenades in Final Fantasy games, or other, damage items and such. So they're nice, and they do good damage. So alright, and this is her chapter 1 town, so you can see that I can interact with the NPCs. This is called a path action, and all 8 travelers have different path actions that they can use, have different effects, different interactions with the NPCs. Thrones can steal from people and also knock them unconscious, which is pretty useful, and she's one of the best characters because of that. Alright, that's her knockout action that I just mentioned. Alright, that was kind of early, but at least I surprised them, I guess, so that's nice. I really hope I don't get a second encounter. So in this game it's turn-based and you'll get random encounters and such, but if you get well, obviously you want less random encounters because that's time loss. Alright, so this boss is kind of scripted. We know exactly like what he does on turns and stuff, and then it's just following a set pattern. In the top right corner you can see some buffs that Throne has, and those are basically her at the start of every nighttime battle she has she has a buffed attack and defense and such, so she does bonus damage. Alright, I had good turn order there, so that's good. If you don't have good turn order, then you might have to heal, but I outsped him on one of the turns. And these are the fixed damage items I mentioned. And he doesn't have much HP left, so there, that finishes. Alright. So yeah, those soul stones, they do fix 200, but when the enemy enters their broken state by doing enough damage to their shields, then it'll do twice as much damage. So very powerful for our point of the game, and we're gonna get even stronger ones later. Alright, so that NPC I just passed was a quest NPC that basically teaches you about the day and night system. And if you see in the bottom right corner, there is a sun icon, and that means that I'm set to daytime right now. The nighttime enemies tend to be stronger on average, and then also there's more encounters at night. So we usually try to avoid nighttime, but because Throne has to grind a little bit for her storyline, we do have to take some nighttime battles and such here and there, although not right now. So our first goal after completing her chapter 1 is to kind of strengthen and power up Throne. And then after we power her up, we will eventually move on to do her chapter 2 and 3, and eventually chapter 4, Towns, which will be our main goal to complete her run. Alright, I'm gonna walk to reduce the encounter rate, because if you run, you get more enemies. Alright. And then this is called the Black Market, and it's kind of notorious. So you can reset day and night, as I mentioned, and then the shops out here are random. And the idea is that they're kind of illicit shops and stuff, and one of them sells the soulstone item I mentioned. So I'm going to try to get that. It's a 15% chance, so eventually, in theory, you would get it like 1 in 7 tries or so. So this is a little unlucky, but it's fine. And then there's small ones, medium ones, eventually large ones, but they don't sell larges here. They only sell mediums and smalls, and I'll buy a few. And they'll be good for damage for the beginning part of the game. Alright, there we go. So these are items that I stole. Stole around town. And then I sold them to afford those soulstone items. Alright. And I'll be toggling, you can toggle day and night with the button, so I'll be toggling that here and there in order for specific battles and such. Oh, I realized I didn't mention about latent. So in the top right corner, you can see kind of a grayed out circle. When that's filled up, Throne's latent is available, and that's her latent power, and if I activate it, she gets an extra turn. But in order to build up that circle, you have to either take damage from enemies or you have to break enemies, which is the central mechanic. I've got most of the weaknesses of the enemies memorized, but I still will avoid battling them if possible. Like, I think these guys are weak to sword, but I would rather just run. And taking damage will build it too. You can kind of see that it's lighting up in the top right corner every time I take damage, so that helps too to build it. Okay, so this is the first higher level area, and one thing that's nice about a lot of maps in this game is that the first encounter is fixed, so you know exactly what it will be, and it's always this. And we know that the bottom left thing is weak to dark soul stones, and then I can throw one to defeat it. And that's the medium one that you saw did 1430 to that bottom left one, so it did a lot of damage. In addition to that, there's an autosave on every single screen, so this game is really speedrun friendly. Like, if you do fight and make a mistake or you lose a battle, it's fine. Right. Also, there's a chance to get caught by surprise by the enemies, and then they'll kind of just gank you and knock you out. So fortunately, I didn't get caught by surprise, so that's good. Alright, I'm gonna walk parts of this because if you run, you might get a third battle, and I don't want a third battle if possible. So, alright, so this is the sub job system, and there's 12 jobs in the game. Oh wait, forgot to learn this. Alright, so there's 12 jobs in the game. We will be attaining about 3 or 4 of them in the course of the run. And after you start learning 2 or more skills, you learn support skills too, which are basically passives you can keep on the character, and those help for basically having passive effects. The one that I just got, okay, so I got the Scholar sub job in the top left of this map, and its first support skill is called Evasive Maneuvers, which reduces the enemy encounter rate by about half. So that's quite nice. This is her chapter 2 town, but we're not strong enough to complete it yet, so I'm not gonna start her chapter 2, but I will come here for one of the items that's hidden here. It's a medium soulstone. Alright. And then this is a boat that will go to different areas. Oh, and there's also a fast travel system in this game, which is probably obvious, but steal this. This is a quest item. So there's a fast travel system in this game, and that's convenient. You can warp anywhere that you've touched town-wise and harbor-wise. So, and then this harbor will take you to different places. So there's like 4 different ports that you can go to, and we will basically be exploring majority of the map in this speedrun. This is another mechanic of the game, boat travels, so you can travel on water. It has lower encounter rate and also has different enemy sets, because they're usually water-based enemies. Alright, this is a save and quit, which basically means I reload to the title screen and come back in, and that resets the encounters in here, so I can get a few more steps in safely, and I'm gonna walk here. So this is a super high level dungeon. It's like a level 40-ish dungeon, but with that support skill from the Scholar, the Evasive Maneuvers, I will get less encounters, and I can walk here to get this item, which is a pretty useful job point item. So that's a JP augmenter, and every single time you defeat enemies, they drop EXP, money, and job points. And I need to get these steals. The enemies drop job points, experience, and money, and that JP augmenter multiplies the job points by 50%, so you get 150% as much, and that's pretty useful for us. We want a lot of job points to unlock skills, and for every skill you unlock, the later ones become more expensive, so we need like a lot. We'll be taking a lot of battles in this, and I'll explain as I get there. Also, you can see that Throne looks different from her starting outfit. That's because she's the Scholar sub-job, and the sub-jobs give you another set of skills, but also weapon types too, so that's how she gained access to staff. There's 6 weapons in this game, and then there's 6 elements too, and then those 12 things are what enemies tend to be weak to. So, although there's some enemies that will change their weaknesses and such as well. Alright, so we're going to enter a higher level map soon here too. It's Conning Creek, and a little dangerous of a map because there's scorpions here, but we can defeat it with a soulstone. So hopefully I don't get caught by surprise. Yep, I got caught by surprise. This is very common for speedruns, but of Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. But the nice thing is that the autosave system is very generous, and it'll set you back just 1 map, and that's not really a big deal. There's very few players who PB and have like completely clean, spotless speedruns. There's usually always something that will go wrong. It's very common, which is fine. Alright. Alright, so next map we'll have more scorpions, and hopefully again we don't get caught by surprise. Throne, her final chapter has this NPC you have to knock out, and in order to do that you have to be level 34. So we'll have to defeat a lot of these random battles and such. And also the way that we routed the game is to optimally know what encounters are coming up and how to defeat them. So that's why I know, like, you know, what is here and how to defeat it with that soulstone, for example. Alright. So this is another useful town because it's a convenient location to get to other towns that we want to reach, but also it has this rainbow bottle item, and you'll see that what to use shortly. Okay, so I mentioned that there's 12 jobs in the game. Basically, 8 of the jobs correlate to the 8 of the starting characters. Like for example, Throne's a thief, so there's a thief job in this game that you could obtain. But there's also 4 advanced jobs that don't correlate to anyone, and they have special like properties and such. Spreading the enemy is good. It doesn't always happen, of course. One of the 4 jobs is Inventor, and it's really useful and powerful, and it's also convenient and close. But in order to unlock the skills in this game, for this job, we need invention items, and that bottle I just got was one of them. There's also a usage for earrings, and if you saw, I bought earrings in Kane O'Brien and New Delta, which were 2 towns I was in, so that's been helpful. Alright, now I unlocked 2 of these, so that's useful. Oh, I just realized I did not do one of the steals I was supposed to. Oh well. I was supposed to steal a certain item. It's bad. Guess I'll hold off on it, unfortunately. I can go back and do the steal. Waste a bit of time, but it's fine. So I just unlocked 2 of the inventor skills, as well as its first support skill, which is a step ahead. The current support skill I have on, evasive maneuvers, reduces the encounter rate. A step ahead skill basically gives you a free turn at the start of every battle, and that's really useful for us because it lets us basically do extra bonus damage against bosses and things before they even get a chance to act. And without it, this speedrun would be a lot more difficult and troublesome, so fortunately, it's available to us. I've also rebuilt Throne's latent power in the top right corner, and that is also nice because there is going to come a point when I need to use that latent power. So, also I'm walking in these maps because if you walk all the way through, you have a very good chance of skipping all of the battles that would occur. And then the battles, you could get a really fast flee, which is nice, but you could also fail to flee and then just get stuck there for a little while. And I believe it's guaranteed by the 5th flee to always escape, but yeah. Okay. I need to go back and do the steal soon. Oh, it's fine. Okay. But yeah, if you can skip the encounter, it's usually better, unless you need the experience and such. So. Oh, right. I also forgot to complete the quest there. I'm being a little distracted by things, I think, that's all. Alright. When I was here, I was supposed to complete this quest. Which is fine, I can do this now. Alright. Then over here, when I was here, I was supposed to do a steal. Actually, 2 steals, but it's fine, I can do it now. Alright, it's fit. Okay, a little unlucky. That's a little unfortunate how many tries it took, but okay. It happens. Her steal rate goes up with every single... Alright, good. With every level of hers, so... Alright, one of the items I just got was called an Octopath. Okay, Octopath, and that increases the chance of rare enemies that give bonus experience and job points and such. So Throne's steals go up with her levels and such, and ideally you get basically good steals like the 55% and such, but occasionally some runs might need to do like an 8% or 15% steal, and those tend to be like a lot worse, obviously. That was a 55%, and I failed it like 4 times, for example, so you can imagine how bad like an 8% or 3% steal would be. So we generally try to avoid having a lot of those, but sometimes it can't be helped, so oof, that's unfortunate. This is another dangerous map, but it's fine. The autosave is kind. So in the beginning of the game, we're basically just moving around, tagging towns, and also getting items and weapons and skills and jobs and such. So very useful jobs up in this direction. So. Okay. Oof. That's unfortunate. Alright, I'll put this on the step ahead support skill. You can choose to hold off on putting this on, but if you do, basically it gives you a free turn at the start of battle, but that wouldn't have helped me there, because that thing still did damage to me, so. I should survive this. Let's see. Good. So this monster, its AI, tends to do defensive actions at, once it has taken significant damage. Doing its attack last time was unusual, so a little unlucky, but it happens. Alright, so there's some money here. Convenient. 6,400. It's a sizable chunk. So. Alright. Just like the last map, the first battle in this map is going to have the same battle with the armor eater and the two little moles, so I'm gonna defeat that too. I also, alright, that's unfortunate. I also have a large soul stone, which is going to be the first usage of it in this speedrun, and you'll see how much more it does than the mediums. So the mediums do more than twice of the smalls, and the large does more than twice of the mediums, so that's nice. A little unfortunate about the surprises, but this is very common in Octopath speedruns. Most players will just grind out a good run and with like minimal surprises and things, and then it comes down to execution afterwards, like if you can execute the battles and things. I'm gonna do a safety save here, just in case I didn't reach it. Alright, well that's good. So you see that it's 2,700, which is a lot more than before. Oh, and it's probably hard to see, but basically in this game there is a bonus EXP JP system and such. So if you break the enemy, you get bonus experience, but then if you overkill the enemy by doing bonus damage to it, that will also give you bonus EXP. So I do try to aim for that if possible. Alright, let's see. Alright. So I just put on the merchant sub job, and the merchant ability is to pay money to do damage, and it pays special soldiers to fight for you. So you'll see. Oh, I got caught by surprise. And basically it has like multiple tiers of money, so like the cheapest one doesn't do very much damage, but the more expensive ones do a significant chunk of damage. We'll be using like the middle range ones for the most part, but later toward the end of the game we'll use more of the like more expensive options and such. So let's see. Her latent gives her a free turn, as I mentioned, her latent power. And then I use Hired Help Ruffians, which does defense down. And then with defense down, Hired Help Guards does a lot of damage and defeats this battle. And this is like an endgame tier enemy, and I am strong enough to defeat it now, thanks to that Hired Help ability from the Merchant class. And that's going to be our main damage DPS throughout this run. Alright. And on this map, just like a lot of the previous maps, the first battle is static, so you'll always get it. I forgot to turn to night sooner, but it's fine. Alright, so let's see. Alright, good. And it's always going to be this encounter set, so that's useful for us, because it lets us break them and reobtain latent. So I just used higher health beastlings, and beastlings' special property is that they always break enemies. And if you recall, one of the things that will help you reobtain latent is breaking enemies. And once Throne breaks 4 enemies, she reobtains her latent. So that's very helpful. So again, I'll use this higher health ruffians, which is semi-cheap, and then guards, which is a little more expensive, but still not bad. And these guys give a lot of experience and job points and money, so it's useful. That's why you see me gaining like a level every single time. But I also go to daytime because I don't want a second encounter. If you get caught by surprise, you have to redo the first one, so I generally try to avoid it. I picked up a money chest outside, and also the Star Splitter, which is a really strong sword. Alright, so I'm about to go pick up a really strong axe as well, but first I have to force another battle here. This is be a repeat of the same thing. Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I should. That's good. That was a rare encounter. Let's see, 25,000, 2,000. Okay, 2,400. Okay. That bottom octopus thing is like a 2% encounter rate because of the rare item thing I equipped. So with that, I can I got a lot of bonus money, like 20,000, which is a lot of money, and I'm gonna use that to basically grind extra battles around here and such. So you'll see that in a bit. I don't usually do this, but because I got that rare monster, I can do this for some extra battles and EXP and such. I'll probably do like 1 extra, 2 extra. So Throne, I mentioned this earlier, but in her chapter 4 town, she has to knock out an NPC who has a knockout level of 34. So I have to reach level 34 by the end of the run. So getting those rare encounters that give a lot of EXP and JP is really useful. Alright, let's see, 15,000, 7,000, 20,000. Alright, that should be good. Alright. Oops. That's my first time getting that in a run, that rare encounter, so. And then, because it's a 2% rate, so you almost never see them, and then defeating them is really helpful. Alright, there's a free quest here that gives you a hat, and that's a shield as well. Let's see, I can actually just... Alright, 80%, usually it's 65%. And I have bonus money still, okay, that's good. Sorry if I'm not explaining super well, but basically that rare encounter threw me off a little bit. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. We want to take these battles for the experience, so that she can reach her designated level by the end of the run. Alright. And I got a hat from the quest of knocking out those 3 NPCs, and then a shield, and then this is a coat as well. So that's pretty helpful. Basically it's armor that we want to get, and it's also free, so that's always nice. In the speedrun we try to use a lot of like the things along the way that we can get, and that helps save time basically. Alright, hopefully I don't get the encounter. If I do, it's fine. Alright, you usually get the battle, so alright, so that bottom left thing is a little bit tankier. It survives the soulstone, so breaking it lets you defeat it a little more soundly. Okay, let's see. So this is a little dangerous of a map. It's called Mary Hills, and the Mary Hills area, and it has some really powerful opponents. But this one is alright. Well, actually, I got caught by surprise, so it's not bad. But basically, there's some really powerful enemies here, so hopefully you don't get a bad encounter. And unlike the other maps we've been to, this one, the first encounter is random, so we just hope for a good roll. Sometimes there's some really tanky ones though that you want to try to avoid if possible, so we'll see. Okay, that back thing is an example of one that's like really tanky. I don't actually know if I can... Alright, I have to use this. So this is armor corrosive. It puts defense down on the enemy. Alright, because that anteater in the back is really powerful, so... Alright. But one thing that's nice is I'm up on EXP and JP, which is good. And I come to this town because there is a necklace in the back, which is really useful. It gives 1000 extra HP if you equip it, and we're basically going to keep it on for the entire run, pretty much. And this is basically the second to last armor piece that we want for our setup, and then we'll be strong enough to withstand some boss battles and such. Alright, back to inventor class, and necklace. Let's move this. Alright, we'll force a battle at night. And I'm up on EXP and JP, so I don't need to take a ton of battles. Okay. So what I basically did there in that menu was I changed throne to the inventor sub-job, and inventor has this skill called catapult that does a lot of damage, and that's really useful for clearing random mobs like this. In addition to that, I also put on gear and stuff so that she could so that she could survive the battles and such. And I'll be defeating encounters along the way while picking up some useful items here and there. So, in addition to that, I took off the Octopath. That gives a 1% extra increase, but 1% isn't a ton. And I like the 1000 HP necklace. It's better for security and such. So, actually, I probably could have saved that chest. I think I'm up on money still. Also, I meant to go to night, but it's fine. Throne's Blessing of the Night special skill will proc only at night, so you do save animation time by doing it in the daytime, but in a lot of these maps the encounter at night is slightly better for experience and job points and all that, but it's relatively minor, so it's fine. Over here there's a really useful reinforcing gem item, and it's basically like a really powerful restorative, so that's what we want. Okay, I am up on so much. Wow. So I just learned all of the thief skills and equipped Life in the Shadows, and that basically gives bonus experience and job points for every single battle at night. Do I need more battles? I think I want more battles. Alright. I will, however, skip this chest here, I think. I don't need that. Although, okay, let's see. Actually, I will just get it. Alright, so there's a lot of these like random stray chests around that you can pick up for money too, which is convenient. And because of that rare encounter, I have a lot of excess experience and job points and such, so that's quite nice. And this is a lychee. It helps restore latent power, and thrones, which is to get a bonus turn, is really useful. It's probably the best in my opinion. Best latent power, that is. Alright, I'm gonna walk this to try to skip the battle. run part of it, because you don't usually have to walk all of it. Alright. And we are entering another dungeon here. So this dungeon is called the Seat of the Water Sprite. And in this game there are these... I gotta check my level 22. Alright, that's good. There's these rusty weapons that are scattered throughout the world. And basically these are like special weapons that can be reforged to create like legendary weapons. And for us, we will be obtaining 2 of them. Although, ironically, even though they do have like, you know, special powers and stuff, we really actually want them to just sell. They sell for 1,000 a piece, 100,000 a piece, which is more than basically every other item in the game. I don't think anything else sells for nearly that much. The next highest is like 50,000, for example. So it's very good for money. So I will be picking up some of these small money chests here and there still, though, and I'll also be forcing some random encounters and such too. So. Because you do need some battles and things. Alright, leveling up is good. In this run we don't usually buy healing grapes or healing items and such. So ideally you level up, and every single level up heals you your HP and SP, and that'll be really useful to plan around like bosses and stuff. The full game categories of this run will tend to do that too. Alright, so got this, and okay, so I just got the rusty staff, and that will later be reforged to like a legendary staff, which is really helpful. And now we'll be tagging one of the last towns that we have to reach, and doing one of her chapter stories in it. Oh wait, I'm supposed to go do... actually it's fine. Yeah, okay, actually it's fine. Sometimes the ordering of some of these chapters, you can kind of vary it up. Like, if you get a certain rare monster and you get bonus money and such... Oh wait, I shouldn't have walked that. You can skip like a chest here or take a different path or something. So that can mess with you sometimes when you're trying to run and do everything perfectly. But for the most part, this run has been going well. That rare encounter I got helped me skip a lot of battles, which is nice. And some of these maps, runners basically memorize in terms of how much you should walk, how much you should run in order to skip the battle while getting through safely. So that's why in some of these maps you see me walking part of it and then running part of it. Alright, so this is one of her chapter 2s, and this will be the first chapter 2 town we complete. And we waited to, even though this was like a really low level chapter 2 town, it was like I think recommended level 8 or something, and we're level 22 already. We delayed until now because we want to do a steal here, and there's a pickaxe in this place right here. First I'm going to sell this axe, and then steal this pickaxe. And that is the whole reason why we kind of delayed this chapter until now. When you're level 22, you get a 55%, but if you're level 21 or lower, you get a 15% success rate. So you definitely want at least 55% if you have to do a steal. And then it goes up to 65%, 80%, and 100% once you get enough levels. So usually it's like every 3 levels or so it goes up a set percentage. So also every single one of the 8 characters in this game has a chapter that has no conflict, where they basically have to do story triggers and stuff, select options and things. This is Throne's non-combat chapter, and it's pretty simple. Basically, I haven't really been talking about the story, but she is trying to still get her freedom from her organization, and in this town, she's like challenged this duel where she has to drink from a poison chalice or a non-poison chalice. So you just pick the right one, and that's it. So. Alright. Let's see. Evasive, boost in the shadows, step ahead. Alright. Now we're gonna go to one of the strongest boss battles in the game, technically speaking. These are the assassins, and at nighttime they appear. They give a lot of experience points and job points and money, so we want to defeat it, but they're really powerful, so we're going to use hired help. One mercs will weaken them enough for us to break them all at the same time, and then we get late in the back from breaking all of them. We can use a pomegranate item that I got from that dungeon, and that gives full boost points. And then with those boost points we can defeat them with hired help veterans, which is the most expensive option until we unlock assassins, which we just unlocked, so it's even better now. Okay. Alright. I got level 29 I think, but that's okay, I'll level up from here. Okay. So, we will go do her other chapter 2 now, which is in this town that we were at earlier. Oops. And now we're high enough level that we can defeat the boss here pretty easily. In addition, I completed that quest just now with the sturdy pickaxe to get the sword out for the lady, and she gave me the sword as a reward. Right now it's just a rusty sword, but we can reforge it later with the staff we got, so that's quite nice. And for her Throne's storyline in this, she basically has to come to this tavern, knock some people out, and then knock more people out to infiltrate a lair of bad guys. Alright, knock them out, and now I go to the lair. This NPC I just passed has some really useful money items if you want to steal from them, but the way I routed this run, it shouldn't be necessary, unless you get really unlucky, which hopefully I just don't get unlucky, so. Alright. I think that there is a chance of skipping the encounter, but it's unlikely. We'll see how it goes. So, here. And I'll just go to nighttime before the... It's fine. Alright, level 30 is good. Let's see. Ugh, I missed the range, it's fine. This boss is a range to defeat with that attack I just used, and I missed the range, which is fine. I just use a backup attack to finish him off, but it's a little annoying because you lose a little bit of bonus job points from it, but it's fine. Alright. So there's this debt collector here trying to collect money from this blacksmith. We help him out, and he reforges the 2 weapons we have. So. Alright, getting through this. There's a really convenient cellar here. Alright. And this is Throne's next chapter. She has to infiltrate an orphanage with the nun stuff we have. That's to refill latent. Do that soon. Alright, and now we're just gonna be moving toward that location. Also, because I sold those weapons for a lot of money, I have excess money and I can now use hired help guards to defeat these random encounters, which is nice. also be coming here to this location, and there is a silent bandana here which blocks terror. There's a couple stats effects in this game, like poison, blind, and terror is one of them, where you don't gain any boost points, and that's really troublesome for us, so I'll put that on. And the next boss kind of spams terror, and it basically blocks her effects and such. So that's one nice thing about this game. Sometimes they'll put something useful for you to use right before the boss. So, alright, the very first... Oops. Whenever you pick up an item, it goes to the very top of your inventory, and that's really useful because I picked up two lychees and a silent banana, and then I put them all on, so... Alright. And here, Throne is dressed up in disguise. Alright, so up to this point I've skipped every single cutscene, but this is a interesting cutscene in that you can't actually skip it for some reason. I don't know why the devs designed it like this, but eh. Right. Oops. I stayed on night for a little long, but hopefully it's fine, because the boss is a little far. Yeah, that was unfortunate. It's because I was running at night, but it's fine. 209,000. I might run into a little bit of money issues, but it's fine. I have backup money plans and such, so. Alright, so this boss, we're gonna use a super strong restorative, which gives full latent and boost points too. Alright. And then higher health beastlings will break the enemy and also defeat its sidekick. Oops. Alright. Here I will collect her for a little bit of money. And bosses can be collected because they have some money on them. And I want her money, I think. Right, hopefully she should do her terror thing. Yep, there it is. And this will usually terror me, but I'm fine because I have the anti-terror. And that will defeat her. So I collected some money from her too, which is nice. Alright. Alright, next town. Only 2 more chapters left. Mont-wise. Alright, so here in this town, basically, I haven't really mentioned who Throne's been fighting, but she has 2 basically bosses for her. One is called Mother in the organization, and the other is called Father. And I just defeated Mother, so now this is Father, and we're going to fight him for this chapter. He's stronger than Mother too, though, so I have to be cautious. I'm trying to think if I need... There's this item I can pick up here, which is an Ice Soulstone Medium, but I do still have my Light M, so my Light Medium Soulstone, so I don't need it. I will, however, go to night because there is going to be a battle at the console, and nighttime for me gives me buffs and stuff. But in addition to that, my passive ability gives me bonus experience and job points. That's the Life in the Shadows thing I put on earlier. Oops. Alright. So in this dungeon, well, I'm gonna get the encounter, but hopefully it's not too dangerous or anything. These can catch you by surprise and do some damage, and that's annoying if it happens. Didn't happen, so that's good. Alright, so going to the boss now. Father does a lot of attacks and stuff, but we have another strong restorative called a Revitalizing Gem, which full heals HP, SP, and BP, and we'll be using that in this battle. And all her all her bosses are weak to dagger, which is her primary weapon. So that's useful. Okay. I have to watch the damage here very carefully. I want 18,000. Okay, that was definitely 18,000, so we good. Ooh, whoops. You don't want to use the highest option. Assassins does overkill damage. Alright. I should be okay. There we go. Nice. Okay, I still need level 34, so I will grind some extra battles before I can do it. Alright, let's see. Alright, so I put on, I learned skills from Scholar until I gained extra experience, and then put that on, and I'll be, oh, that's unfortunate. And I'll be using that to grind battles here in this area until I get to level 34. So, and I'm pretty close. I will heal up so I can survive those surprises and such. Alright, that's nice. Okay. I do like to reset these because that way, if you get caught by surprise or something, you'll be safe. So. It's a little slow to be doing this like autosave thing over and over, but for like a marathon safety strat, it's better this way. And if you get like a rare encounter, then that'll basically save all your time. You don't have to do this. And it's basically the same thing. Using the guards will break the very front guy, and then use the higher top beastlings will break the very back guy. The back two as well, and then the front guy will give you 25 points, and then next set with the beastlings will give you 25 each as well. And then Throne just needs 80 points of latent to fill up her latent bar. So. So because of that, we can keep alternating between this guards and beastlings to save money. Alright, getting close. Probably 2 more battles. Also, something else that I didn't mention, but the very first encounter in every single map, it comes at a quicker frequency than other maps and such. So. Alright, hopefully just one more. Let's see. Because of that, instead of just running around, if I re-enter the map, I will get a reduced encounter rate. Oh, okay. But it came here at this point, so it's 96,000. Oh, wow, I missed it. Oh my god, I should have defended. Oh well, at least I got 34, but not getting that is unfortunate. That's another one of the rare encounters, but I should have defended. I didn't think about it, But at least I still leveled up, so that's still nice, I guess. But getting that at the very end kind of hurts, because if that was the first thing and I defeated it, I would have skipped a bunch of those battles. So, a little unlucky, but it's fine. I mean, I guess I'm lucky for getting it at all-ish. We'll see. Alright, so... Alright, I gotta put on evasive maneuvers again. Alright. Because I was running at night, I will probably get the random encounter, but if you remember, this is the very first dungeon we were in. Yeah, this is... And unlocking latent with that is useful, because now I don't have to use the inn or anything. That's nice. Okay. Alright, and now we will go to her final chapter town. Basically, the very first dungeon she was in, there was like this door that they couldn't enter, and she went back and went through the door, and it unlocks this hidden path to this like secret town, and that is the place where she'll get like the key to her freedom. Oops. Alright, I'm also walking these maps because the enemies in this final dungeon town are like really powerful. So I want to avoid them, and walking it gives you a high chance of skipping them, so. Oops. 109,000, which is a little unfortunate in terms of money, but I'm trying to think how much I can spend safely. Okay, 109,000, so 15,000 is 30,000, 110, 80,000. Okay, so I can afford 2 beastlings in these maps, and then I just have to use a more dangerous script for the final boss, which it still has a very high win rate. I think it's around 80. Oh wait, no, I don't need that anymore. I usually pick that thing up. It's a soul. Oh, okay, that's really bad. I have to just run from this thing because I can't afford to fight it. I can defeat most enemies in this map, but not this one. Especially if it catches you by surprise. It's very powerful. That really big one. But I think it's like a 5 or 10% rate. It's low though, so I just got unlucky getting it. So. Alright. Getting this again. Okay. I can defeat it, but. So I have to put defense down up in order to defeat him. Alright. 109, 94,000, 95,000, 96,000. Okay. I'm just checking how much money I can afford to spend on these battles with what I'm planning to do for the boss. So, basically for this final boss in the run, you can either do a 70k, 80k, or 100k battle. And I will be doing this 80k battle. Alright. And we'll see how that goes. I shouldn't need to safety save unless I get really unlucky, which hopefully I just don't. So Hired Help Ruffians does defense down but also attack down, which is useful. Alright. Hired Help Assassins heals you, but also does a ton of dagger damage. And then this will give me BP. And now this final turn, we'll see how things work out. Because turn order is actually good, I have a very high chance of winning though. I'll probably reobtain latent from the damage. And then if I do, then I pretty much guaranteed to win. Yep. Okay. Alright, this should finish. If it doesn't, I'll throw a soul stone. Alright, unlucky, but it's fine. Let's go with this. Here we go. Alright, there we go. Alright, and that is the final boss, and time will occur on the first frame of the fin screen that pops up. I believe it's right after the end of this, right here, time. Alright, it's about an hour or so, and that is the speedrun. I also like to show the FPS, 60 FPS, and the settings and such I play at. So, thank you for listening, and if you have any questions or comments or anything, feel free to post them below. And hopefully it was informative. And also, as far as the run goes, it was a good run. Some good encounters, some bad encounters. I didn't play optimally, but for the most part it was good. And I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Alright, have a nice day. Bye bye.